conspiracy theorists are going to conspiracy. That's just
No,
what
I
they
was
do.
reading like mainstream articles about the United States confirming that they're trying to develop a
Now,
centralized
if
digital
you're talking
currency.
about a digital exchange system, then I can see that.
See if you can find something
But
like
something
that.
separate from the USD, no.
That this is what I only looked at the headlines of it because someone was sending it around and I didn't have the time because it was yesterday. But this idea of a centralized digital currency is something that Maxine Waters talked about. She said that we have to do that in order to compete with China.
Yeah, Maxine Waters is not exactly the brightest person in Congress.
That's not saying a lot.
Yeah, I know it's a low bar, but she passes it.
Here
I don't know if this is I'm just pulling up to see if this is what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
digital dollar is something that makes sense. The idea of smoothing the connections within the plumbing of the financial system or moving beyond a physical currency at all, that all makes sense. That's kind of like the next step. But a separate currency where everything is mitigated or managed by the Fed, that's not something the Federal Reserve has an interest in.
Let me go to Tim Kennedy's Instagram because he was the one who posted it a couple of days ago. White House releases first ever comprehensive framework for responsible development of digital assets.
Yeah, this happened right after Bitcoin really started to nosedive.
Well,
and the question
this
is, how do you bring
September.
crypto? Yeah, how do you bring crypto into the regulatory environment?
But this is a framework for responsible development of digital assets. It doesn't mean a centralized digital currency that the United States creates. If you just go to Tim Kennedy's, there's an article that describes it, and he's talking about the dangers of this. Yeah. You got to go?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. Well,
this is fun, though.
It's been a lot of fun. You scare the shit out of me, buddy.
You're welcome.
But you're used to that, huh?
Yeah, you throw some bourbon in me, I get really lively.
It's
Just for
official.
next
The
time.
United States is developing a bank-to-bank digital currency. Take that headline and just Google that headline and find out what that means. The United States is developing a bank-to-bank digital currency. I'm concerned with the United States having that along with a social credit score system.
Yeah, no, we don't have the math for that. And then the Chinese have proven...
We don't have the math for that.
Yeah, well, the Chinese have proven that their social credit score system broke. They didn't have the processing capacity to keep track of it, and that is with a near bottomless supply of resources and full control of the political system. So we certainly don't.
For those who thought the United States was behind the digital currency space race, the news was welcome. In a subsequent white paper on the project named Project Cedar, the New York Fed explained that it has already completed stage 1 of testing and proved that international currency transactions can be done both quickly and safely through the blockchain.
Yeah,
But buried in the technical details was a revealing line on the ambitions of the project. The goal of the new network is to reduce settlement risk in cross-border, cross-currency transactions. The message: we see what the world is doing with CBDCs, and the United States is not going to be left behind.
So the way trade finance works is if you're in Korea and you want to sell something to Chile, you sell it in won. It's transferred into U.S. dollars, and then the U.S. dollars are transferred into pesos. There's a 3-step process, and each of those requires a transaction. But if you can digitize it, then it's click, click, and you're done. Mm-hmm. That's what that's talking about.
So you don't think that the fear of a centralized digital currency that the United States controls...
Nah.
You're not worried about that.
I mean, honestly, the Federal Reserve, that's not what they're good at, and that's not what they're trying to do, and it's not what they have an interest in doing. If they were to inject themselves into each individual transaction, that would be a nightmare for them.